Yeah. So here I am back at Saturday today, but I have to do a new intro for part two or episode 30 because episode 29 got to be pretty long. Anyhow, episode 30 went ahead to, I'll show you here. Wait a second. Oh dear me. There, finally got it turned around. So these rear suspension and what do you call that? Rear trailing arm. I put them in, and I discovered when I was doing that, I discovered that the bushings in this are slightly different than the bushings up here on the front control arm, lower control arm. They're so now when I was putting it together on the other side there, it came together so nice and easy. And this side here, I had a fight with. Well, don't you know, I had one of the rear bushings stuck in there, squeezed in too tight. So I had to get that all pulled apart and sorted out. So you get all that. I make lots of mistakes. If I didn't make lots of mistakes, then and somehow I don't seem to learn from my mistakes. But then the other part of episode 30 will be putting these brakes together and putting this all this stuff together. Plus, likely that main what do you call that thing up there? The master cylinder. Yeah, sticking that back on. And I think that pretty near covers it. Anyhow, Anthony made a comment and said that I was very dedicated to my work here, but I don't know whether it's dedication or foolishness or obsession. But it sure does beat watching TV. Mind you, it doesn't beat watching YouTube. I really enjoy watching all this stuff and other people that do things like this on YouTube. So, there you go. Thanks for the support. See you next time. Okay, so that's that side. The hub's cleaned up. And now I'm going to put the bushings in here, I hope. This is the passenger side trailing arm, right? Yeah, passenger side trailing arm. You can't really get them mixed up because this has to go on top and that has to go to the outside. So, there you go. Anyhow, now, how will I do this? I might try it just with the vise. Don't know if that'll work or not, but we'll give it a go. Put some white grease in here. That white grease stuff seems to really help things along. And push that side in. Push the sides in. See what happens. I'll show you as I get along. Yeah, here we are. So anyhow, those bushings went in there. No trouble at all. Now, if you remember, go back 2 videos, right? And when I was putting that bushing in there, had an awful lot of trouble with it. It was very, very tight, hard to fit in, hard to get in, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? It's the wrong one. It should be this one here. See, the shoulder on this one is bigger. That's a BMS 01. That's a BMS 02. So, oh dear, dear, dear. So I've got to pull that bushing out of there. I hope I haven't wrecked it. And see if I can get it into, put the proper one in there, number 1. And then see about getting the rest of it out. So that means taking this shit here, this stuff. I hate to say shit. Taking all this stuff apart. That would be disappointing. Okay? Oh, it looked so pretty there for a little while. Anyway, I'll see what I can do. I don't know for sure what's gonna. I don't think there's an easy way to do it. I just have to take it apart. I have to undo this right here. This part here can stay. That part comes off. Down below comes off. Spring has to come out. Well, or the spring has to be loosened off. And then this bolt here has to come off. So, hey, I'll get an opportunity to clean that in there. Don't you know, there's some good behind it. So anyway, I'll get it off and disappointing is right. Okay? Yeah, I know. Remember all the struggling I did to get this thing to go up in there. Well, don't you know, I don't know if you can see there, but right in the end there, that's Allen key type thing in there, and it's a number 6 Allen key, so you can just tighten that on and then torque it down. Makes life an awful lot easier. Now, I wondered why it wasn't set up that way, but I didn't look close enough to see. Anyhow, there, that part's off. Now I'll have to take this off, and I don't know whether I'll take the top of the, I don't know what I'll do there. I'll do something. Anyhow, I'll take this off, and then I'll figure out a way to loosen off the spring. I think I'll take the top nut off. That would be easiest. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter which way I do it. Maybe I'll take the bottom one off. Well, I have to loosen the top one anyhow, because otherwise it's too tough to get the thing out of there. So this off, that off, and where am I pointing, eh? This off, that off over there, and then I should be able to get the back thing off. Yeah, so another clue that I had things wrong here. Wait till I get a light here shining that way. You see the, I don't know if you can see that. I zoom in just a second. That's the nut on the driver's side there. You see how it's just close to the edge of the nut there? And then the nut for the passenger side is right here. I need light. I don't need light. I can see it. You need light. And so you see the, it comes out an awful lot farther there. The nut comes out farther at this end than it does at the other end over there. Oh well, life is. I'll get it off, and boy, I like doing things 2 or 3 times, eh? Yeah, there you go. So this, my 10-ton power fist thing, whatever you call this thing, who knows what it's called. But it's portable power, I guess it's called. So here, that's the power unit down there. I just pump it up, and I pumped it far enough that it, well, that far there, whoops, there we are, that far there, and it loose off the spring enough so I could lift it out of there. Now I'll loose this off, take that out of there, and see if I can get that bushing out. Yeah, there. Now I got the old bushing out. Just took a bunch of prying and pulling on it to get it out of there, and I put it in the vise here and slowly worked it out. Once I got one half out, the other side you just put a socket down like this and push it out with a hammer. So that was done. Now, whether it comes back to its proper shape or not, because it's got squeezed into a hole that was too small for it, right? Well, we'll see. I might put it in boiling water and just see if it'll come back to its normal size again. It likely should, but I'll just do the boiling water trick for a bit and see what happens. Yeah, now back to the task at hand, and I'll get this thing here reinstalled. I'm getting good at this now. Now that I know how to do it. But first, I'll clean this off here. Whoops, where am I pointing? Down to the ground or somewhere? Yeah, I'll clean this off. I neglected it before. And I'll clean off this side here. This side isn't as bad as the other side anyhow. So likely it's not a big deal that I missed it. Yeah, there. Now I've discovered that this 1 inch extensions fit perfectly in here, so you get a nice solid connection in a straight line. I'll use that in the future in a few other places. See that? Yeah. Anyway, that being said, it might be down far enough now to get the spring onto it. I'll see if I can get the spring up there and into place, and then we'll see about getting these things to come into place when I let the pressure off. Yeah, now there, where am I at? Yep, here I am. So tighten down the nut on the top of the shock absorber. Got this thing, the nut in across the bottom of the shock absorber. I used this thing here for a transmission hoist this time. Those extensions on the bottom of that and a piece of wood, and this holds it steady in here. So that worked out all right. Now I've got that tight. I'm going to put the impact driver on this one here, tighten that down, and then see about getting the steering knuckle back onto it. Boy, oh boy. I make a lot of mistakes, I guess, eh? Oh well. Yeah, there now I tightened up all the, like the one back there with the bushing on it. Back there at 60 foot-pounds or something like that. This spring sits right here where it's supposed to sit. That one there is tight. This one here is tight. That one there I tightened down so that it's got they're going to be sitting at the right spot when I let the pressure off, so that when they sit naturally, they'll be happier. So I'll let the pressure off here now and just see what happens. Down it comes, and that's sort of holding its spot right there, which is good. Anyway, there you go. I'll get this stuff put away. Oh, there, I was talking to nothing. Anyhow, this is all sort of back together that much, right? And I've got, it's quitting time. Time to go have some supper. So I'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Dark outside already. Oh well. Oh yeah, so here you are. Good news. The boiling water seems to have brought this back to the right size. I'll check it out tomorrow, but it's hot right now, but that might have just fixed it. Yay. That surprisingly good news there. Yeah, there it is. So this one is the one that I had squeezed into the wrong size, and then I boiled it, and this is the one that came originally. Now they look about the same size. I compared them both to each other. They seem to be about the same size. I'll just get the calipers out and check it out. Yeah, so they're both about the same size, 43 point, a bit on both of them. So yes, it seems to come back with a little bit of persuasion from boiling water. That's good. So I let it boil for, 5 or 10 minutes. And then it looked okay, so I figured, well, I'll take it off the water and see what it looks like. There we go. Yeah, so next on my list is this thing here. To get the steering knuckle back on, which is over here ready to go. That I finally discovered that there is indeed a spot to put a Allen key in there so that you can hold it and you don't have to go through calisthenics to get that thing tightened up. Oh, it only takes me a long time to learn stuff. But I'll get this set back in place and see what comes up. Yeah, so that's that I was able to put on the bench. I haven't got it torqued yet, but it's tight. And then just pull this up into place and then put a clamp on it to flatten it out so it fits and you can get the bolt in. So a little bit of, I'll put a little bit of Loctite on both those bolts up here and then put them in place. Yeah, so there, that's all. These are torqued to 42 foot-pounds. That thing there is torqued to 54 foot-pounds. 22 foot-pounds down here. This one at 60. The one down here at 80. The one on the inside there at 65, I think, was it. And this one in the shock absorber was at 110. This one down here, I forget what it was torqued to, but it was torqued. The torque specification said if there was a sleeve in there to torque it to a certain amount, and there's no sleeve here, so I just tightened it up to what I figure is good. Anyhow, I think it's torqued to like 20, but it's called for 40 or something in the book with the sleeve in it. This one here, I forget what it was torqued to, but I'll check that one out. Yeah, so that one in there is torqued to 75. That's all of them. Hey, they're all done. They're all good. Everything's okay up here now, I hope. I think I got it right this time. It only takes 2 or 3 times. Now I'll go back to the journey on the back here, and I'll put the, I don't know if you can see it, but way over there is the other trailing arm. So I'll put the bushings in the other trailing arm. Then I think I'll put them on and put the springs on back there, and that'll get another box out of the way, right? Yeah, here I am getting a bit ahead of you now. So these bolts, you just push that up into place, and those bolts slide right in there easy, which is surprising, right? Then I'd sort of snug them down, but not tight. Now then the rubber bump stop on the top there, I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, I think you can. Wait a minute, I'll point my finger at it if I can hold the light. So this rubber bump stop has got a depression in it to meet that spring. The spring doesn't matter if it's upside down or right side up, it's both ways the same. And this part down here has got a depression on it at the bottom here to meet the spring. So this one here is solid in this plate. That one there, you can move this, that one at the top, you can move the bump stop around to meet it. So it's right there. Now I just got a piece of wire holding it up, and I'm gonna rig up my my jack here, and I'll push it up into place, and then see if I can put the shock absorber in to hold it, and that'll be good. Okay. Yeah, so there's that side's on. Now I haven't tightened up these bolts at the front here, and I'm not going to do that until such time as I get weight on it, like the weight with the motor on it and everything like that, so that it doesn't take anything to lift it off the lift right now, because there's no weight back here. It's all up front. Anyway, that's one side done, and these bits are in the right spot. The bottom bump and the top bump are in the right spot, and the bump stops there. Hey, that's good. Now go to the other side, see if I can get it. The other side I had a hell of a time getting it off of there, so see how it does getting it back on. Yeah, there's side number, driver's side in, and all is well. This is the side that I repaired, And they both have new stoppers for the springs. The spring just sort of sits in there loose on top of where the shock absorber is. Didn't really have to lift it up very much at all. Anyway, there we go. That's another chore looked after here. Still cleaning spiders out after all this time, hey? There's spiders just live everywhere. Okay, it's Thursday today. Back with the Volkswagen van, and yesterday I started on. I'll show you back here. Wait a second. See if I can turn that camera on there. I started cleaning up in here. Now this needs to be. Actually, it's not bad. Now I need to cut some insulated pieces and glue it in there, and then there's this sort of metal thing that's over there. It's kind of just a spring set that keeps it in there. So I'll put that insulation stuff up there, and then the next step is to fix up the whatever you call that, the heat system. See if I can make that a working item. Now, since today is a new day, and the FedEx lady was here and quite kindly brought along more stuff for finishing up the front brake stuff. So I think we'll go back to working on the front end here. I think I have everything I need. Lights. Oh boy, oh boy. Some days the light just won't go where I want it to go. Show me the light there. Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, I have most everything I need to finish up putting the bearings in, and caliper rebuild kits and all that kind of stuff. So I'll get this put together, and then it's a finished thing. I also have a new master cylinder thing right there, that box. Whoops. Excuse me. So I think everything I need is here. So I'll go ahead, and then that'll clean off my work area, and I'll be able to call that done. Now, the other thing that I found out along all my stuff is when you're putting that seam sealer in, it's got to be metal to metal, so I have to clean off all that paint on the seams, which I will do. Mostly I just put that paint on there so it wouldn't rust anyway, and cleaning the paint off is okay. I can do that. Yeah, there I installed the new master cylinder. Haven't put the top on it yet because I have to take that off the old one. I didn't know what was coming with this, whether it had a top included or not, but not is the answer. It's got the what do you call these things? The seals are there, so that's a good sign. And I put in, it comes with new electric connections, whatever those are the little electric connections that tell you if your brakes are failing, I guess. And then I hooked up that pipe, and I hooked up the pipe on the other side. Can you see that down there? Anyway, it's all in. And then this cable here was all hooked around everything the wrong way, so I moved it so that comes free. But it needs a new cable or a fix or something up there. I don't know how. Don't know what to do about that. We'll see about it. Yeah, no, so after doing it wrong the first time, right? So here's this inner ring. It goes in here. Where am I pointing? The inner ring goes right in here. And then the outer ring, this is the seal on the outer side, and it's got this snap ring that goes around it. So the easiest way to make all that happen is to put that seal onto this onto here before you push the piston in there, right? I'll show you in a minute. So, but first, soak everything or, lubricate everything with brake fluid. They say in the book it says, hold other piston, puller. Somewhere they say lubricate it with some sort of Volkswagen grease. Use parts and repair kit, coat seals and pistons lightly with VW brake cylinder paste or an equivalent before installing. So, lightly with brake fluid, I guess, is what I'm doing. And then they also say don't take apart the caliper. Like if it's leaking, replace it. It wasn't leaking, but I split it because it's easier to get into it. But I got to put those seals back. Like that's why they don't ever send these seals with anything, right? So anyway, somebody else had it apart before me. So what the hell, eh? So now there's also two different kinds of calipers that go on these things. I think there's this Girling and AZT. But now this kind here has these kind of fittings at the top. I forget what they were from. I thought they were from the AZT ones. And these things here seem to be the fitting for the Girling ones. But no, I don't know. Anyway, these things here are right because it's the same thing that came out of it. And these ones here, I ordered like a seal kit for each because I wasn't sure. And they're only $10 or something, so big deal, right? So I ordered a seal kit for each just to make sure that I had the right ones here. And apparently I do have the right ones here, which are the ones for AZT. I'll check on the anyway. You have to figure out your own anyhow, I guess, eh? Because they look similar in the book, and so what do I know? And then trying to figure it out is just as easy to order one for each. What the hell, eh? So there now, that's the piston all set to go in. So I've put the seal, I installed it on the top here. Then when you press it in, I just press it in with, give it a light tap with a hammer, and it'll go down there. And then I'll show you when I get to the bottom what I do about that snap ring business. Yeah, so there, once you get the piston pushed in, just push this sealing ring around. It'll sort of fit around the edge there. It snaps right on there, actually. Make sure you get it on all the way around and push down as far as it'll go. Yeah, that one's not around there. Anyhow, two-handed operation. I'll show you when I'm done. Yeah, there, I've got it pushed all the way down now. And now you just take this snap ring and put it on over the outside. I'll show you when I get that done. There, it's just pushed in there, and I pushed it in. I've got a little tiny, like a little tiny screwdriver that I pushed it in with. But be careful, don't poke the rubber, hey? That would be a bad thing to happen. Now, the next thing is you got the two seals that go here, and then I can put the halves together because I've got this side here all set to go. It's ready, and everything is looking good. Yeah, so there now, everything's in there and together. Now I have to put all the brake pads in. And for that, you put some dielectric or some brake pad lubricant on the back, right? And there's supposed to be noise dampening plate that goes behind the brake pads, but I don't have that. Don't know if it ever had that. I'll wait, I'll look and see. Yeah, so here now, you put your first hokey pokey, and then you put this the first pad in, and just run that line through to the second pad, that pin through to the second pad, and then put this on, and then run this pad across. You sort of hang that one in there by it. Then you just tap them home with this. It's got a locking system on it, so I'll just tap those things in and show you. Yeah, see there, that's come out, and then that's in there solid. I'll show you why. There's this little bit of a locking device on the top of it that slides in there and makes it a tight fit and clamps it. Spring clamp, backwards spring clamp, right? So there, number one is done. I'll show you number two as long as nothing goes wrong. Oh, I'll clean up these two things here and put them in. Thought I ordered one or two of those, but I didn't see it come. Maybe in one of these bags over here, I'll check. Okay, now there's side number two put together. Which one is this? That one's a passenger. That one's the driver's side, so I'll just put it on the bench over there until I'm ready to stick it in so I don't get confused. Yeah, so now I've got this off of the old master cylinder, yay, and I didn't damage it at all. That's good. So I put some degreaser in there because it was kind of yucky, especially down in here. But that degreaser got it all cleaned up. There's still a little bit of a sludge on the edge of it inside there, but I haven't got anything that'll reach in and get that. I did let the degreaser soak for a while, and then I rinsed it out with water, and after rinsing it out with water, I put some detergent in there and shook it around, and so I think I got the big bits out, and I'm pretty sure whatever's stuck to the wall is just coloring the wall. So I'll just let it be, and we'll be happy with it. Yeah, so now I'm going to take the old bearing races out of here. So there's the old seal. It just I just got a pry bar and got it underneath the seal and popped it out. Now you're supposed to go for the bearing races, you're supposed to use a little, like a punch and just tap it out. I think I have the tool for it over here. Yeah, so now I put a little white mark here and a little white mark on the other side where there's a couple of gaps where you can get this. This is like a drift from my set for automatic hammer stuff like that. What do you call that thing? Anyhow, but this is part of it, and it's got these kind of the way that it hooks. It'll hook on the edge of the bearing seat, and then you can push on it there and just give it a tap with a hammer, and it'll pop out of there. Yeah, there you go. That one popped out of there all right. It looks like it to be in reasonably good shape. Here, I'll get underneath some light here. There's obvious wear marks. So I think likely would have been okay, but while I'm in here, I might as well change them. That's what I do all the time. So that's that side out. Now I've got to flip it over and get this side out, if I can. This side out, I'll just put it on a flat surface. This one, for that side, I put it in a vise. Yeah, so on this side here, I started to, like it was starting to score the inside of where the bearing race sits, the seat for the bearing race. Anyhow, so I decided once I got it moving a bit, I could have room to put this slide hammer in there. I don't know if you've seen slide hammers work before, but they work pretty good. You just whack them like that, and it's got about a 3-pound thing, maybe a 2-pound thing here, and it creates a impact, and that will bring it out. So I've given it a couple of clicks already, and it's coming. It's just about there, so I'll finish it off. Yeah, so now I've got it out. There it is, right there. Came out all right. Now you can see that little bit of burring that I was talking about there. Is that focused up? Can you see that? So I'll just take some emery cloth and take the burr off that, and a little tiny bit on this side too. But you got to make them. Apparently, you have to make those races pretty clean, or else it'll, put a small warp in your bearing race, and then that'll create a problem down the road. Wouldn't show up right away, but eventually it'll wear out your bearing. Yeah, there. That's got that thing smoothed out. You can still see where the divots are, but I took the high points off, and same on the other side. I'll check the front race here and make sure that's good. Then I'll put the new bearing races in. Yeah, same on this side here, but I don't think it was me for that one. I think it was the previous guys, whoever did it last. But anyway, that's all right. I cleaned it up, and what I did was use this little wheel on my drill, which is pretty soft and not too abrasive. Took off the high points and then cleaned it off with emery cloth. Now, just a matter of putting new bearings in and new races in, and then I can put this new races in, put the new seal in, then this can go on here. So I guess I better take this off of here. Sometimes I just use whatever's around to cover stuff, and then it won't come off anyhow. There we go. That masking tape is pretty tough stuff sometimes. And this is where the seal sits on here, so you want to make sure that that's nice and clean, and everything is good there. And it all looks okay to me. I'll clean out that bit of grease there. Talking to nothing there. There's a nice shiny new one. That actually looks pretty nice. And there's the rest of the package there. It comes with the bearing, inner bearing, outer bearing, seal, and a new nut for the go on the wheel. But now, I've got this thing here set up so that I can just push it in there. But I have to find a proper sized thing to go on here. I've got one for the inner bearing, but I need one for the outer bearing. I need one for the inner bearing. Yeah, that's getting started there. So I'll just press it in. Then it gets up against the end of this is a bit too big. So I'll put in a spacer there. Still got to go down in there a little bit, but I'll just put this in, and then I'll knock it back out later. Sometimes it's a bit tough to knock it out, but if you're careful, I'm careful about it. And that's down to the bottom. Now it's just a matter of getting that thing knocked out of there. Yep. I've done this before, and you have to be very careful not to score that surface, right? Okay, we'll get it done. Yeah, there, that worked. So now, what I did was I used the slide hammer, and it just hooked on the edge of, like I had it pointed with the big edge in, and I just hooked it on the edge of that, and then it was able to not touch this thing and pull it out. Okay, now on the next one I have a socket that'll fit all the way in without, it'll push it right down to the bottom without worrying about the being too tight in there. And that looks like it's in the right spot all the way around. So I'm good with that. Good. Yeah, so this side here is sort of a one-step affair. Just once you get the press set up. But I've got 2 or 3 things on the top of it there to make it happen. And it looks like it's all the way in. I'll just check this out. Yeah, that's seated down there nicely. Okay, can you see that? I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's seated right to the edge. So is that one there. Seated right to the edge. Now, start packing bearings, which I did learn. I was watching. Oh dear, that's heavy. Okay. Yeah, so I was watching Rusty Beauties the other day, and I learned how to properly pack bearings that I didn't know before. I don't know if you... I'll show you, I guess, if you're interested. Yeah, I'll show you. Hang on, I'll get set up and we'll start packing bearings. Yeah, there it's recording. Here's my hands. Rubber gloves, very important. And I've got this Valvoline multi-vehicle red grease, high temperature red grease. Where is it? There it is. So you take a good generous portion of grease. This one here first. So like the inner race there, the trick is to get it to go, push it in so that it comes out through the race. I guess there's some, you can get a bearing packer to do it, but I don't have one of them, so we'll do the best we can here. So a bunch of this stuff, right? Just put it on generously, right? Right the way around. Then start pushing it through. I guess this way. Am I on there? No. I've got it pushed around. Now just start pushing it through so that it's going through the bearing to the other side. Yeah, okay, so there, now there's enough, I'm pretty sure there's enough grease in there. So I'll see about getting the seal put in there now. I'll just take it over on the flat bench over here and do that. Yeah, so there's the seal in there now, and I just sort of tapped it in lightly with the hammer. A little bit off right there, so I'll give it another couple of... If you hear it bang on the metal all the way around, then you know it's got to be pretty close to even. So, anyhow, that's set to go. Now I'll pack the outer bearing. There's the outer bearing. So I'll pack that using the same method as I did with the inner bearing, and stick it on the car. It goes on that's the driver's side wheel. Don't know why I started with that one, but that's what happened. Yeah, so there now, like clean off the race, or this is where the seal sits, and that's where the race goes, or the bearing goes. So just slide it on, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so that's in, and then the groovy washer goes on right there, like that. And it follows in. Then this groove at the top, and there's a groove at the bottom, is for putting a divot into the into this nut here. So this nut goes on now. I'll have to get a wrench and tighten that on. Hang on. Yeah, so there now. I'll just put the dust cover on for now because I still have to put in the new speedometer cable and figure that thing out before I put it on for permanent. And I'm not gonna notch this thing yet. I'm gonna just let it sit for a day or two, and then I'll tighten it a bit more and loosen it a bit and tighten it a bit and loosen it a bit and get them seated nice. Anyhow, that side there, that side is on. Now, I'll get the other side on, and then we'll think about getting the brakes on it. Yeah, there, that looks pretty good there. Now, I'll put the brake caliper on, and one thing I just noticed here, so there's two holes in the brake caliper. One of them, there's two different bolts. One of them is like this. It's got a shoulder on it that goes in that hole, and the other one is like, well, that one's not cleaned yet. This one here is cleaned, and there's no shoulder on it. Goes in that hole. Don't know why, but that's how it is. Now, when these, I took them out, they were seized in there solid, so I'm going to put some anti-seize on them. Anti-seize? Yeah, I got some of that stuff. Wait a minute, I'll see if I can find it. I had some of that stuff. Yeah, this stuff. Sam gave me this stuff. Silver grade anti-seize stick, Loctite. It's like chapstick for your bolts, right? Yeah, there now. I've put on the whatever you call this, the brake caliper, and that seems to be okay. Now where's the right there? So I have to get this hose comes in like this right here, eh? And then I need a little U-shaped thing to go from here to the brake, to the caliper. So I'll build that. Well, tomorrow I don't have the stuff out for today. But there, this twists all right, and it doesn't, nothing drags on it, so that's good. Everything there is done. 116 foot-pounds for those big bolts there. And in the book it says, yeah, there's a shouldered bolt at the top and there's a non-shouldered bolt at the bottom. Don't know why, but that's the way it is. So now, I'll just clean off these bolts here for future use tomorrow sometime. What time is it now? I think it's about quitting time. Wait till I check the time. Yeah, it's 4:45, so I don't want to start that one yet. I'll take that one apart tomorrow. Anyhow, it's coming along pretty good. So that'll be that for the day. I'll just clean up those other couple of bolts and then head it in and see about making some supper, hey? Yeah, so I'm back here again, not quite gone away for the day. So I was wondering about how do you tell when this is adjusted right. So I read the book. And what you do is you tighten this in tight, right? So that the bearings will seat themselves. I've done that. Then you loosen off this bolt. Like, you can hear that's too loose, eh? So you make this bolt just tight enough so that you can move this thrust washer slightly with your fingers. See that? You can just move it slightly. So just right there is where it's supposed to be. And there's no noise. So that's the proper adjustment. Then you're supposed to peen that down. So I'll just do that in another day or two. I'll get it done before I put the dust cover on. Okay, here I am back at it. It's Friday, January 20th. Boy, the month goes by fast. All of a sudden it's just about the end of January, and we still haven't had real winter here yet. Hang on, let's see what's going on here. So, here we're back on the van, the 1982 Volkswagen Westfalia, and yesterday I finished getting this side together with the brake on there, but I still have to put a brake line from here, where am I pointing? From here to the caliper. I have to build a brake line for that, and then hook up the rubber line. Then everything will be done for brakes, you know, for the front end. And then I was satisfied that I had this right. You turn that in until it's tight, and then loosen it out until you can just barely move this washer underneath it, and then peen it down. So there's no play this way that you can really feel, and it turns nice. So there, that's done. Now I'll put the cap on that, which I here it is, one with a hole in it, right, for the speedometer. And I painted that up yesterday, so I'll just put the cap on it for now to keep any crud and corruption out of there, and then I'll carry on to the other side. Yeah, there, all done. Doesn't that look all right, eh? So now we'll just move over to the other side, and I'll do the same here. Unless I come across something interesting, I'll just do it up and I'll show you how it looks at the end. Well, yeah, something interesting right away. So the guys that put this in last time, that seal should be just even with the outside of this rim. So you got to be careful how you get it in there. You can sort of push it in by hand, and but if you push it too far, then it's going to get not straight on the axle seal place, like over here. If it's not straight on here, it'll let some dirt in, but you know, I don't imagine it'll let much in because it's kind of sealed all the way around. Anyhow, how do I get it out? Well, I've got this just a pry bar, and I stick it in underneath there, and give it a crank, and it'll pop out of there. Yeah, there. That one's in, and that one's in, and it's right back to the backing where it stops, right to the stop. That's good. Now the next thing is to what's next? Pack this bearing and then put the seal in, right? Okay, we'll do that now. Yeah, there you go. Passenger side's on. Spins nice. Not touching the back plate anywhere. Hang on. Yeah, that air compressor is about the noisiest thing on the planet sometimes. Anyhow, now I have to make a line that goes from here to there. Can you see that? Where am I pointing? From this here. Hey, famous, good English. Hang on, yeah, there, I'm back. So this is the rubber hose that comes from the frame to the wheel, right? And it goes into that bracket right there like that. Then I need a steel pipe that goes from here to here, or an alloy pipe, or whatever I've got there for pipe. That goes from there to there, and I'll build that now. I need two of them to get both sides done. Yeah, so there's that brake line hooked up in there now. From here to there, and I think it's pretty good. I'll take that as a win there, I think. Hang on, I'll make sure you're looking at the spot. There. Anyway, and here's the line going to the car, right? And I did put that little, like, what do you call that? Just a hose clamp on there to keep it tight. And so I'll do the other side. I used this brake line maker here. I can show you, the next one I'll show you how I did it in there. Hang on. Yeah, so here, I'll do this without kicking the camera too bad. So I've got two end pieces and a piece of pipe just about that long, right? Now, for the first one, you don't have to put any ends on it, you just leave it be. This thing here has got this operation 0 on it, and then that one's for operation 1, which is for making a bubble flare, which is what I'm doing here, bubble flare. Then these two pieces go on, so you just stick your pipe in there, like so. And this clamps it down. Just clamp it down loose. When you pull on operation 1, That's gonna knock the camera. Hang on, gotta reset. I'll move you to the other side. There, try that. So this is operation 0 and operation 1. So then you pull this handle until it pushes in and it makes that even in there. Then you move around this one here to the position, but first a little bit of oil on it helps things out a bit. Just a little tiny drop of oil. Tighten this down tight. Then pull with an even pressure, because if you stop in the middle of it, it'll get a double bubble. Isn't that interesting, eh? Then loosen it off, right? Then you got your nice little bubble flare. Do you see that? Bubble flare, which comes out quite nice on there. Then I'll put my two ends on, because otherwise there won't be any end on it, right? The two ends are on it like that. Now I'll make the other end. Now this will make all sorts of different sizes. I'm just using this, what is it, 4.25 millimeter stuff, but it'll make this size like metric stuff, and it makes the other kind. I'll tell you. Here's all the different tube diameters. I don't know, can you see that? So it'll make 3/16, 1/4, 5/16, and 3/8. For double flare, it'll make 4.75 millimeter or 3/16 for bubble flare. So I don't know. You like the double flare stuff that's bigger is for transmissions and stuff like gas line and stuff like that, eh? So I pull that tight to operation 0. Again, a little bit of oil on it. Then tighten this down so that it's going to hold that pipe in there. And a steady pull till it comes tight. Loosen it off again and pull it in there. There's the other bubble flare. You see that? Am I pointing right? Yeah, somewhere around there. Anyway, that's making, now I have to bend this pipe to make it, like this stuff here is very pliable. It's, what do you call this? It's a alloy brake line. So real pliable, but you gotta be careful not to pinch stuff. So I'll get it made, I'll get it bent around and into place over there, and then I'll show you the end result. Yeah, so here I am at, wait a minute till I recenter this thing. Yep, there you go. So, where am I? Over here, right? And never ever get the light to shine where you want it to. So, now I learned the trick on the last one there was to tighten this one in down tight, and then bend that one to fit into that hole there, and then put them together. And that seems to be pretty good. So, it's all together there now. Hopefully nothing leaks. We'll find out when we get pressure to it. So that joint and connection is in there. That joint and connection is in there, and it's all hooked in behind there. I did that yesterday. So, what am I doing here now? I wonder. That seems to be like it's 4 o'clock already. That day goes by so fast. Anyhow, so I'll cut this off here because it's Friday afternoon, and that's kind of a good place to end it all. Hopefully everything is good here. We'll just wait and see. Hang on. Well, anyway, this turns, right? That does that. The brakes are all together. Rebuilt calipers. This turns, and the brakes are all together. Rebuilt calipers. Everything in here is new, as you know. So what did I do last week? I had the knuckles on, ready for the brakes. So this week was all about getting these cleaned up and ready for, and the brakes cleaned up and ready to go back on. And I waited a little bit around for some parts to show up, didn't I? And at that time I worked at the back here. I don't know what I did for sure. Just a little bit of, oh yeah, I put that fuel line in and finished up the brakes back here, the lines. Did I put all the lines in last week or this week? I think I put all the lines in this week, eh? So the lines are in to the back, lines are into the front. Hey? Yeah, I guess I did quite a bit this week after all. So, anyway, enough of me droning on. I'll see you next week. I hope you like it, and I hope you subscribe to it, because I sure do I sure do enjoy it my own self. Okay, bye for now. Yeah, where am I? Here I am. Friday, January, well, I don't know, 18th, 19th, something like that. Anyway, well past the middle of January, still no snow. Well, a little bit on the ground. Supposed to get 10 centimeters next week sometime, but then that's it until February by the looks of the long-range forecast, which is really something. Anyway, the pretty non-winter here this year, except it's just, grim and dim. Oh, the water level's finally gone down so I can get through here without getting wet feet, or real wet feet. A little bit of ice, but I wouldn't walk out there yet. But lots of open water right here, and that's fresh water. Yeah, just a little bit of snow came down overnight. But it's kind of a grim day at Holland Cove. And Buster there, he's quite happy to be to the beach. Anyway, there you have it. Another week gone by. See you later.